New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Victoria Bomberry, and I am traveling. So I have a different background this week, and you can see that I am in a different room. So I'm in Northern California instead of Riverside. And I am so happy to be with you today and to start off this new readings that we're doing. We're looking at the Creative Mind magazine, Creative Thought. I keep saying Creative Mind because I think that that's just part of our teachings. We talk about Creative Mind, and this is Creative Thought magazine, and it was established in 1954, and Raymond Charles Barker was the lead of that. And Raymond Charles Barker was a very influential New Thought leader in the early years. And he actually began in Unity, and he became friends and, was influenced a lot by Ernest Holmes. So he came over to religious science and became very influential in the movement and was the spiritual leader of different centers in the United States. So he was very influential. And when I was, someone gave me a recording of a service that he did. Probably it was from the 50s, and I was just blown away. It was when I first came into religious science, and I thought, wow, this man is such a powerful speaker and makes so much sense. So his words are timeless, just as our teachings are timeless. And we're so grateful that, he was the impetus, and the leader behind this Creative Thought magazine. So the Creative Thought magazine, it ran from 1954 until December 2014. And so there's all these years, what is it, 60 or 70 years worth of Creative Thought magazines that are available to you at the Science of Mind archives. So you can go to the archives and you can either download single issues of things, and there's all kinds of things there. This is only one resource that is available to you. So you can go there and you can download things and be inspired by things and, just get an idea of what this movement is about, and where it started, what's going on, what are some of the things that have carried over time, what are the things that are emphasized at different moments. And we find that truth is always truth, and that truth will always be what is emphasized. But, there's different circumstances that come up, and we respond to them, by what comes forward to nurture us in those moments. So, I just encourage you to go to the Science of Mind archive and explore. You can also become a member of the Science of Mind archives for a very minimal amount, so you can support it in that way too. And we know that our libraries and our archives are tremendously important to us, especially now. We know that a lot of the resources that we have are losing. Well, people just don't know that they have the ability to go to an archive like this and get those materials that they may be seeking. So use it and enjoy it. So today, in Creative Thought Magazine, I'm going to be reading from a Saturday. It's I think it's a Saturday, but Reverend Briz is going to put that up for me, and I'm going to read it for you so you can see what it looks like. This is what the magazine looks like. And this is Saturday, August 25th. An inner wholeness presses its unfulfilled claims upon us. And that quote is by Emma Young. And Emma Young was the wife of Carl Jung. And she was also, as her name implies, a Jungian analyst. So she's one of those early Jungian analysts who is lesser known than her husband Carl, but she supported him. She was, I think, in all ways his equal, and she was able to bring resources to the work, monetary resources to the work that enabled them to delve deeper into all of this new psychology that was coming up in their era. And remember, when they were doing this work, psychology was at its very, very beginnings. It only became recognized as a discipline in the late 19th century. And so this is, we're looking at this early work that uncovered so much for us. So I just wanted to point that out in this quote, because these are the kinds of things that you will learn if you go to the archives. You'll be able to find out, your inspiration will come. And, mine came through, well, who is Emma Young? And I went and I looked up who is Emma Young and learned a lot about her, and was able to bring that to this talk this morning. So this is a very powerful reading. And I'm going to start over. Can you scroll up just a little bit, Riz? I'm going to read this quote one more time. An inner wholeness presses its unfulfilled claims upon us. So I want you to keep that in mind. The divine urge is alive in me. Spirit is perfect, whole, and complete. It is the totality of creation and more. Within God is the divine urge to create, to express, and to manifest out of itself. The universe is an aspect of that creative urge, and so am I. My being is one with spirit, one with its expression, and I carry the divine urge for creativity within. I listen to my inner voice, the intuitive voice of the wisdom within. I create a space of invitation with my thoughts and feelings to allow that wisdom to coalesce into creative expression in my life. I am here to bring this inner wisdom, which is unique to me, into manifest form. I do this easily, naturally, and with great love and compassion. My gratitude for this realization is deep and unending. I deeply appreciate my creative nature and my connection to spirit. With thanksgiving, faith, and profound acceptance, I release my word, thus activating the law toward its perfect manifestation that is the inevitable result. And so it is. Oh, and I just love this emphasis on the divine urge, and to know that each and every one of us have that divine urge within us. Sometimes, I will be talking to someone, and they they are just alive with spirit, and it's so much. It's just enlivening to be around them, to know that they have that divine urge and they are acting on it, and conversely, sometimes I will talk to people who are really wanting to well, I know they have that urge within them, but they are locked in a circumstance that is blocking that divine urge that's within. But I know it's there, and I know that they have that. And our work as practitioners and ministers of religious science is to help people uncover that and bring that forward. So the divine urge is alive in each and every one of us. This morning, I can feel that divine urge in me. I was so thrilled to do this reading, and just that divine urge brought me to other aspects of finding out more. Right? That's my particular bailiwick. Right? I love learning, and I love doing research, and I love to delve deeper into that. So that's where my divine urge comes forward, and gives me so much joy. There's divine urges all around. People are teachers. People are, and I feel like my quest for knowledge and wisdom expresses as teaching as well. But, there's all kinds of divine urges that are out there that we see that are happening in all kinds of ways. If we look at the divine urge in children, oh, isn't that amazing what children can do? And they are just so open and receptive to life that, when they are given just that nurture that they need, that support that they need, just a little bit even, they just run with it, and they explore the world, and they find out things and notice things that maybe we have forgotten, or we have it's never even occurred to us. And, I feel very fortunate to have a young grandson who has kind of led me down this path recently of discovery and looking at things, and having questions, and really pursuing those questions, and, just doing things that are, what can I say, just so awesome that I'm always blown away. So that divine urge in children, we can watch, and we can see it in action. That divine urge is also present in all kinds of folks, right? I mean, we can see it in science. We see it in technology. And, I was just thinking about technology yesterday, and holding my phone in my hand, and, navigating on my trip, through Northern California, and, going on these country roads, and, having the GPS guide me, my navigation system, having that available to me. And, I know that I used to get around with maps and spend a lot of time lost. Well, not lost. I always say if I made it to my destination, I wasn't lost. But, spending a lot more time exploring the area than maybe was necessary to get to my destination. But that navigation system took me right there, because I could hold this phone in my hand and get to my destination easily and effortlessly. And don't we say that often when we're doing our prayers, easily and effortlessly? So, I think that our technology is an answer to our prayers as well. And it comes from that divine urge. What do we need? What in our life will make our lives richer and easier? What will help us save resources? All just an array of things. So we see the divine urge operating all over. And, I think that is what life is about, recognizing that divine urge in us at every moment. And, we are such amazing problem solvers, aren't we? If we just take that moment to calm ourselves, to have confidence that spirit, as the divine urge, is guiding us, it dispels so many things. Right now, I'm thinking that, I see many people who are struggling with anxiety, as in the workplace, because it appears that, in this culture, in American culture, there is a sense of, that you just have to work. You have to work constantly to get ahead, or to stay on top of your job, to keep the job, all of those kinds of things. These are the things I hear from people who come to me, and they feel stressed. They feel like their creativity is blocked because of that stress, and they lack joy in their jobs because of the pressure that they are feeling. So our whole work here, moving into that wholeness, everything is there, right? Everything is there that we need. Everything is there. There's that wholeness that Emma tells us about. And it is just waiting for us to recognize it. So as people are, in this high anxiety, the state of high anxiety, because they don't feel like they can accomplish their work, that's probably the core of it, that it's not possible to accomplish that work that they have to do in the amount of time they have to do it. That turns on, what we call the lizard brain, the amygdala in the back of the brainstem, and it completely turns that off. This is the biological aspect of it. It turns that off so that the thinking part, that area where we do the problem solving, gets completely blocked. So it can't work. We're just on survival mode. And all of these hormones are just shooting through our body. Okay, I'm going to take it into the spiritual, metaphysical part of it. When we're in that state, when we are disconnected from source, from that divine urge, we are unable to do the work that is necessary to get us to the confidence that, yes, we have this. Of course, we're capable. Of course, we are able to do the work. There's absolutely no question about it. We have that ability to do this. So this is on the personal level, right? That we have to have that confidence. We have to know that divine urge is always there present for us. So quieting ourselves, just taking our time into that space of knowing, where we can access our knowing of the divine urge, gives us that charge that we need to move forward. So these are all, this is all contained in this very small reading, right? That, this is something that each and every one of us has. That's our birthright. And, I'm just grateful for it. I'm eternally grateful to have discovered this and to know it for myself. And, so this divine urge takes a lot of different pathways. We at Centers for Spiritual Living have a global vision, and our global vision is, a world that works for everyone. How are we going to accomplish that? And, it's not just empty words. We're not just mouthing these words, a world that works for everyone, and just sitting there and waiting for it to happen magically. That's our work to do. That's our opportunity to move into that divine urge. So, Briz, will you bring up that article on the world that works for everyone? And this is by Dr. John Waterhouse, who is just retiring. I think he's retiring this year after a life in ministry. And he was very active in the organization when this global vision was outlined. And he says the phrase "a world that works for everyone" expresses the intention of our spiritual movement. It is a fascinating notion, but what does it actually mean? How can we, as students of science and mind, create a world that works for everyone? Such a world must include potable water, nutritious food, affordable housing, education, medical care, energy supply, and peaceful coexistence. Is it our responsibility to provide these things? No, but perhaps it is our responsibility to make certain everyone on the planet has access to these resources. Okay, I'm going to stop here just for a second. What is our responsibility to provide these? Is it our responsibility to provide these things? Well, not all of us can provide direct services to people, but all of us can participate in making sure that this happens. And we can do it in a variety of ways. We can support organizations that are doing these things. We can, by donation. We can support them by making sure that people know about them. We can do a variety of things. We can become active in civic engagement. Making sure that all of our services in our community are available to everyone. Right? We've had in this country instances, very significant instances of people not having potable water just recently. And we all know the story of Flint, Michigan, where the water was so polluted and so dangerous that, it was making the residents of Flint, Michigan very, very ill. So it's not just about making sure people have access. They had access to water, right? But they had to have access to water that was safe to drink. And that's where the potable comes in. And it's not just access, because sometimes when you say access, that means that, in the kind of legal jargon that gets put out there, that, oh yeah, you have access to it if you can pay for it. And water is one of those things that is a universal resource that is here for all of us to use and to have available to us, and not just access, but it is our human right to have that water. So water, I'm always big on water because we need it to live and to fuel this body so that we can actually manifest that divine urge as human beings. So our responsibility takes in all of this, and it is directly related to that divine urge, because we do get our callings, right? Where are we going to work? Maybe, you're an architect and you're designing housing. And one of the biggest need that we have right now is for affordable housing. Well, I'm saying the biggest need because I see that in my community. I see so many people who are unable to afford homes, and it's getting more difficult for them to afford to buy a home, and it's getting more difficult for them to rent a home. So we know that we need that housing that's affordable for everyone, because there's plenty for all, right? There's plenty. We have plenty of money. We have plenty of this. We have abundance everywhere. But it's about bringing that and making it easily and effortlessly available to people. And effortlessly doesn't mean that you are not activating that divine urge and participating. It means that there aren't barriers placed in the way of people getting the things that they need. So divine urge is active everywhere, everywhere. And we have the ability to listen through our intuition, to know through our intuition what God is calling us to do. It may be in, designing homes. It may be in creating an intentional community. And I know people who do that, right? Who've created these beautiful communities and, have thought out what would be wonderful for people to have, and how do we serve. And that's part of the divine urge as well. Asking that question, how do we best serve? How do we best serve people? How do we best serve life? And, the divine urge is all present in each one of those instances. So, Briz, will you bring up that reading again? So we've got the nutritious food, affordable housing, education, which is my bailiwick, medical care, energy supply, and peaceful coexistence. Okay, he goes into water, and I want to talk about this slingshot. So there's a slingshot water purification system, and this came from 2012, and Dean Kamen invented the slingshot water purification system, and it's about the size of a dorm room refrigerator, and it can produce 250 gallons of high quality drinking water every day from virtually any water source, no matter how contaminated. Now, isn't that amazing? And I of course I got really interested. Well, what about the slingshot? I haven't heard anything about it recently. So I decided I'd go and see what was going on with the slingshot, since this came from, several years back. Well, the slingshot works. It's been demonstrated to work. The holdup is, how do you manufacture it, and how do you get it down to a cost that can make it available to people, right? And it's possible. I read the analysis of it, how it could, by an independent group, and it can be manufactured, and it can create water at 0.02 cents per gallon, which is about what it costs to by any other method, our tap water and all of that, the purification systems that happen to bring the tap water to us today. So it is a system that could be made available, and the divine urge in having the idea for it, and developing the prototype and doing the testing, all of that is there, right? So someone else, who may be in this this whole chain. And this is where we get to talk about inner being too, right? Because we're all connected. Maybe it's not the inventor's specialty to figure out how to bring it to market, but there's all kinds of people along the way that can bring it to everyone so that it is available easily and effortlessly for everyone. That means people in Flint, Michigan. It means people in rural areas, in out of the way places who need a purification system. It means all of us. And, of course, there's many other kinds of purification systems that are out there too. It's all there. It's all there. And it's been created through that divine urge. So isn't that amazing that we have that? And, it's sort of like the old story that we always tell in religious science. Electricity was always there, but until we learned how to harness it and use it, it really didn't mean anything to us. And, I was just recently talking to someone, and I'm just going to give a shout out to Yuma. This was in Yuma, Arizona, at that center. And one of the congregants was talking about, she's a language specialist and a speech therapist. And she said that one of the theories in speech therapy is that language acquisition happened conceptually, when people were able to start to conceptualize things and turn things around. She said, for example, there was a time when people did not use tools, right? This was early on. And then all at once, stones were stones. They were just rocks laying, these inanimate objects laying around, or just objects, right? And someone picked up this object, and all of a sudden they saw something different there. They looked at it and they realized that it could be a tool. Now, to me, that's mind-blowing, right? It's about perception. What do we see? And the same thing happened with all of these discoveries. It's a matter of perception, what we can finally see and access. It's all there. That wholeness that Emma Young talked about is all there, just waiting for our impression, for our perception to perceive it and to make it manifest. So we came from, seeing something in a different light, seeing the usefulness of it. The same thing with the slingshot, the same thing with all of these different aspects that can bring potable water to the entire world, is that divine urge. So that is, I could just go on and on about this, because it is just so incredible to think about that we have all of this right in this body. Everything is there. Everything that Source has is given to us freely. Everything. That ability to create, to have that divine idea and bring it to fruition. Wow. Think about how powerful we are. We are that powerful. I'll just give an analogy. We have these phones, right? I never know how to show them on the screen, but we have a phone. And this phone has such incredible capabilities. And, basically I use it for navigation. I use it to send messages. I use it to, send, basic things, very basic things. But this phone has the capability of doing all kinds of things. If I had, if I knew how to do it, I could use my phone to navigate the stars. I could do it to, I could use it so I could run a run a robot on a distant planet if I knew how to use it. And that's sort of how we are, with our capability. We have not accessed all of our capability yet, but it's all there. All of it is there. And that's exciting to me. It's all there. That wholeness is all there. It's just waiting for us. And I think as human beings, when we start to care for one another more and more, when we start to nurture one another, when we see, to go back to work, when we see that, yes, someone is going to be more creative and more effective if we create a work environment that fosters that. If we create a work environment that is not fear-based, that doesn't create fear in people, but creates that sense of well-being and security, right, in people, and that calmness. So this is an outward kind of thing as well as an inward. What we do when we do our part in this is that we calm ourselves, we do our spiritual practices so that we can come to that place where that divine urge can flow freely. And those divine ideas are easily accessible to us. They're free. They're free. There's nothing to pay. There's no charge. They don't belong to anyone. They don't even belong to God because God doesn't think like that. God is just giving and giving freely. There's nothing to pay for. There's the only thing that God wants is our joy and our wholeness, our health and well-being. That's all that God wants for us. And we've been given all of that, and the capability to do it. So as we go through our week, I know that things will come up, right? Things might come up. And you may find that, I need to just take some breaths here. And, I just encourage people, we have all of these resources around us, right? They're free. They're free. We have meditation services going on all the time. We have this wonderful New Thought Media Network that has so much programming. You can go and you can pray, you can meditate, you can hear an inspirational talk, you can do all kinds of things on this network. It's available to you. And it's freely given. It's just out there broadcasting. And, that is, it's a wonderful thing. So if you have those things that come up and you think, I need a break here, I'd like to meditate. I'd like to have a quiet moment. I'd like to hear someone give me a word today. You can do that. And I want to encourage you to make use of this resource that, we all come here because we believe in this, and we know that this is our work to do, and that's the divine urge working in us. So let's just have a great time this week. Pay attention. Where is that divine urge showing up in your life? I see it all the time around me. I see people. Someone just showed me something that they had made recently, and I thought, wow, that is so clever, and they figured that out, and there it is. They created it, and And then you see the artwork that people do. I had the opportunity yesterday to see some incredible artwork. And there was one in particular that, just I just connected with. And I thought, oh my goodness, just look at that power there. And there was something, in that divine urge that of the artist that spoke to me and stimulated that divine urge in me. I could just feel that rising, and, it spoke across decades, and that artist is no longer with us. And yet that message and that beauty is still coming forth. This is amazing stuff when we get into it. We live in a remarkable world. We live in a beautiful world. It's all around us. So take time this week. Where do you see that divine urge in others? Where do you see it in yourself? What delights you? What brings you joy? What brings you to the point where you think, oh, wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Or maybe there's a problem you need to solve. Just go to that quiet place and allow the divine urge to work through you to solve that problem. And, all is well. And we know our good is all around us. And we claim it and we accept it and we let it be. And so it is. So if we have any questions, I am happy to take questions or oh, Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Yes, I am just, I think that our movement now, we are, we were focusing on the individual a lot, and that is absolutely necessary. And it needs to happen. Sometimes we come to our centers because we're hurting, and we come for healing. We come for that healing, and we need to focus on that, right? We need to focus on that. And when we get to that point where we're able to move in the world again, if that's why we've come, then that's where we get to do the collective work. We get to just get in there and we move. We're integrated, we're whole, we're working on the inner and we're working on the outer. So it's absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary. And that is part of our teaching, that whole creative process we've learned is so that we can be out there perfecting what we do. We're learning. We're in this learning environment. That's what we come to Earth to do. We come to Earth to learn and to share and to just be joyful in every way possible and to bring that joy. And I'll just mention one other invention that is in that article that I cited today by John Waterhouse. There's a medical device that he mentions that is sort of like that tricorder from Star Trek. Do you remember Star Trek, where the doctor would come in and he would hold an instrument and just kind of run it over the person's body, and then they would get a diagnosis? Well, now there is a technology where they're using a device like this, an instrument like this, to make diagnoses around diabetes, and different kinds of bacteria, different kinds of things, heart problems, different kinds of things like that. And it is like that tricorder. It's doesn't cover. I think there's 32 different things they can record in this new instrument, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's in its nascent development. But that is, again, that divine urge. Someone imagined it. A writer imagined it, and put it in this story, in Star Trek. And now we're seeing a device like that being created. And, it will be make things much easier, diagnostics much easier. And, now we have all these things at our fingertips now. And, we want to make them available for everyone. So that divine urge, just pay attention this week. Are there any more comments or questions today? I'm going to move over to the comments side. And hello, Wayne. It's good to see you, Wayne. And Roy. Is it Roy or Ray? Roy, I think. My eyes are a little bit wonky sometimes, so I can't see all the letters, but I think it's Roy. Hello, Roy. Good to see you. So this week, pay attention. And, I hope you can name at least 10 instances this week where the divine urge has showed up in your life. And I bet if you really pay attention, you'll find thousands. So everyone, have a wonderful week. I love you all, and see you soon.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.